A dish that goes by the initials CKT, a noodle dish called Asam Laksa, and a dish named after buckets of rice and curry. This week, we're in Penang, Malaysia.
Traveling the world to bring you delicious dishes, tasty beverages, and interesting experiences. This is the Destination Eat Drink Podcast on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network.
I'm Brent Peterson. Welcome to Destination Eat Drink, the travel podcast for foodies. This is where the world of travel and food come together at destinationeatdrink.com, on the Destination Eat Drink YouTube channel, and here on the Destination Eat Drink podcast. This week, we're in Penang, Malaysia, with Pauline Lee of Simply Enak Food Tours. But first, if you're a traveling foodie, be sure to subscribe to the show, and if you like it, leave a review on your podcast app. And if you're able, please consider supporting Destination Eat Drink with a one-time or recurring contribution at buymeacoffee.com/Destination Eat Drink. And thank you very, very much. Pauline Lee is the founder of Simply Enak Food Tours in Malaysia. They take hungry travelers to discover the delights of Malaysian cuisine in the cities of Kuala Lumpur and Penang. Pauline was on the show a few months back talking about KL, and she was so engaging I asked her to return to talk about Penang. She agreed, and you'll hear our conversation in a moment. Pauline tells me about Penang culture and what makes the area of Georgetown so special. Plus, she tells me about dishes like mee sutong and Penang Hokkien Mee. Plus, Pauline gives big props to Penang, which, as a person from Kuala Lumpur, is a big deal. It would be like a Red Sox fan praising the Yankees. Okay, I'm starving, so let's eat.
Destination Eat Drink.
Pauline Lee from Simply Enak Food Tours. Welcome back to Destination Eat Drink. I'm so excited to talk to you today about Penang, Malaysia.
Pleasure's mine as well, Brent. Just so looking forward to talk about Georgetown, Penang. It's the place that I want to retire.
Oh, good. Hopefully you're not going to retire too soon because, we want to have you for more food tours. We had such a good time talking about Kuala Lumpur a few months ago. I wanted to have you back to talk about Penang. And before we get into the specific dishes, why don't you give the audience an idea of what they can expect in Penang? Tell me about this place a little bit.
So in Penang, well, basically there is mainland and the island, Georgetown. It takes about 4 to 5 hours from the capital, Kuala Lumpur. You could either take a train, take a bus, or fly directly to Georgetown. There is so much to do in Penang. And to do justice, I think some visitor, a newbie to Penang, would at least need 3 nights, 4 days, at least. And if you can spare 4 nights, 5 days to fit in everything that you can do in Penang.
What are some of your favorite things to tell tourists to do when they come to Penang?
In Penang, we've got of course, there's a whole list of street food or food that you should try in Penang. There are some really nice, authentic temples as well that you can go to. The Goddess of Mercy Temple, the Masjid Kapitan Kerling Mosque. So places of worship. Yeah. You have the St. George Church as well. And there is, of course, you could do loads of things. If you want to take it a notch down to have a bit of relaxing time in Penang, you could go to Balik Pulau as well. Balik Pulau is a bit like the village in Penang. And you could have durians over there as well, stay in a retreat. And of course, Trishaw. You need to experience Trishaw. I had a shock sitting myself for the first time a couple of years ago. But it's fun to do. It's really nice. The Trishaw versus the traffic in Penang. And of course, you need to go to the clan houses as well to understand the different clans in Penang. And the Penang Peranakan Museum is another one to go to as well to understand the Peranakan culture, the Baba Nyonya customs. And you can dress up. So just like how you could go to Tokyo or in Japan, in Kyoto, to dress up with a kimono and walk about. In Penang, you can do the same as well.
Oh, really?
Dress up like a nyonya. Yes, dress up like a nyonya with the kabaya, lovely kabaya outfit. You need to lose a couple of pounds first to do that, but possible. All right. And walk around the UNESCO Heritage City. So yeah, there's so much to do.
There are outfits for both men and women?
Women.
Women only. Okay.
Yeah, so far, women, yes.
So I don't have to lose
men.
weight.
It's a good question. Let me ask the Penang Peranakan Museum the next time.
You mentioned a couple of things, the clan houses and the Peranakan culture. And one of the things that I love talking to you about is in Malaysia, it's such a diverse place and so many different ethnic groups. Tell me a little bit about the clan houses and the Peranakan culture in Penang.
Okay, I'll start with the Peranakan first. So it's an interesting word, the Peranakan. So the root is actually anak, Peranakan, anak. So that's the root word child. It means child and or born of. So the person will be born, for example, in Penang, but it's from somewhere else. So the mixture of culture. So when you talk about Baba Nyonya in Penang, the first thing you relate to would be the Chinese. The Chinese traders married to a local woman in Penang. And so that's the Baba refers to male, Nyonya refers to female. So then you have the Peranakan Baba Nyonya, Chinese and Malay mix. But the word Peranakan can also mean, so it's born of, but from somewhere else. Could be from China, could be from India, Arab, Europe, and others. So, today, or with the limited time, we're talking about the Chinese. Yeah. So in Penang, you could also see the Jawi Peranakans as well. You can see the Arab Peranakans as well. If you go to Malacca, you see the Chettis as well. Yeah. So the Tamil traders that went to Malacca to trade. Yeah. So in Penang, it is the Straits. Penang being one of the Strait settlements. Yeah, we've got Penang, we've got Malacca, we've got Singapore. So the main focus is the Straits Chinese. Yeah.
So Peranakan is from intermarriage with Malaysian people of immigrants.
Correct.
And then they've been here for generations. They've been in Malaysia for generations. They bring their culture and they create a new culture in Malaysia that is maybe influence from China and has Malaysian roots to it. How do you describe this to folks who come and visit you in Penang?
My forefathers come from the southern China, and most of my Indian friends would have the ancestral coming from the southern Indian part as well. Makes sense because southern China, southern India, closest to Malaysia, the Peninsular Malaysia. So for the Chinese ancestral, so that's why you have Gongsi as well in Penang, the clan houses. So you've got in Penang, you've got the Chia Gongsi, the Lim Gongsi, Gu Gongsi, Ui Gongsi, Tan Gongsi, Yak Gongsi. So all the different types of clan temples or ancestral homes deriving from mostly southern side of China. So you've got the Teochews, and then of course Penang, you've got the predominantly Hokkien Gongsis, Hokkien clans, Hokkien people.
Can we visit these clan houses in Penang?
Yes, the walk that we do, we walk in the clan houses and we pass by. We advise, visitors to take their time, actually. So that's why with the length of time, with more time, you can spare a morning or an afternoon going through this Kongsi and really understanding the intrinsic history and facts about the clan and the ancestral home.
Let's talk about your food tours, because you do a couple of food tours in Penang. One is in Georgetown, and I heard Georgetown called the food capital of Malaysia. That's pretty that's pretty big words for a country that has such a great culinary history and culture. You do the food tour in Georgetown. What makes the food scene there so special?
I myself, personally, I'm from the capital, Kuala Lumpur. But I fell in love with Georgetown. And there's so much Georgetown can offer. It's, how to say, the charms of this Pearl of the Orient. There's so much to list down and share. So we have 2 food walks, one in the morning and one in the evening. And different times of the day, you could see or be exposed or experience different things, and also eating different things. Penang is the food capital, and even from Kuala Lumpur, we have this word kowtow, meaning I salute Penangites and Penang, because they came out with the origin Char Kuew Teow, for example. We call it CKT. It's stir-fry noodles. It's probably like another version of pad thai, but better, of course. And they have the best nasi kanda. Yeah, nasi is rice, kanda. Yeah, it's the pole to carry the rice and the curry in those days. Yeah. So they have a lot of food. They're basically like the institution, like, the where most dishes come from. So yes, a lot of respect for Penang.
So what is the Char Kuew Teow dish?
Yeah, so Char Kuew Teow dish is like stir-fry rice noodles. It has, the condiments are like, of course, pork lard. You've got bean sprouts, shies, Chinese sausages, and cockles. We call it si ham, in Cantonese. So it's stir-fried, it's dried, and you could either have it extra spicy or normal or no spiced. That's how you order CKT.
CKT. Okay, so we don't need to learn how to pronounce it. We can just go by the initial CKT. That makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it makes life a lot easier.
So is this considered a street food dish, or is this a sit down in a restaurant dish, or is this an everywhere dish?
So it's considered a street food dish, and how it, with like most popular dishes, they start from the cartwheel, the simplest form, with the least rental, street food. And then they progress to, have a bit more savings. They go into a shop lot. So they rent a space in we call it the kopitiam, okay, or coffee shop. Yeah. And then, of as it gets more popular, then it gets more luxurious, in a restaurant. Yeah. But the best CKT is naturally the ones in the kopitiams. So we've got one called Ping Hui in Penang, and that's my favorite and to go to. What
other dishes do you look forward to on the Georgetown food tour?
In the morning, you experience a market, actually, a Chow Rasta market, and you'll see the offerings around the market. You'll taste pickled fruits, and you'll have dodol. Dodol is a glutinous sticky rice sweet, if I may call it. You've got the pandan flavor and you've got the durian flavor as well. We can't forget durian in this topic, yeah?
Yeah, right.
Penang is
the famous fruit.
Yes, correct. But yeah, so we have the morning CKT, Char Kuew Teow as well from the market. And we have chi chong fan as well. So that's also rice noodles with chili and sauce, the shrimp paste. And then you can experience the local kopitiam affair. So what I mean by that is you try the local coffee or tea or a mixture of both, or a local Penang style okasai, which is like a mocha. Yeah. And then you have steamed bread or a toasted bread with the local jam, which is kaya, mixed with butter.
That morning tour sounds absolutely delicious, and I love the fact that you always go to markets on your food tours, because it's such an important part of local culture.
Yes. Market is the heartbeat. I mean, that's where it starts before cooking, isn't it? You need to go to a market, to buy the ingredients. And one thing to highlight in the morning is the kueh. Kueh is almost like the Western pastries. So you've got the French croissant, but in Penang, you have the local kuehs, yeah, whether it's sweet or savory. And that's a very intrinsic preparation, long hours to prepare it. And to get a good kueh is not easy.
What is the base of the kueh?
Most of the time, it's from rice flour or glutinous rice flour and desiccated coconut. So my favorite is you have the tapioca, bingkai ubi, the kueh. You've got the onde. You've got kueh lapis. You've got kueh ketayap as well. So these are some of the offerings from this Baba Nyonya mix, this Chinese mixed with the local Malays. Yeah, these are some of the kuehs. The list goes on. There's so many. I'm already salivating as I speak to you, Brent.
That's what we do at this podcast. It's all about making people hungry, both the listeners and the people who are talking. Speaking of desserts and sweets, I read about something called, I think it's pronounced cendol, Cendol. Are you familiar with
chendol.
This? Chendol. Okay.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about this?
So chendol is like shaved ice. The key ingredient is the coconut milk and the pea flour. Yeah. And then you've got pandan as well. Of course, that makes it green. Yeah. So and the most important thing too is the gula melaka. Yeah. The gula melaka syrup, right? To lace the ice. So it's something that the Indian traders probably brought. Those days working in the pots. Yeah. It's very hot. And what is sensible is to have an ice cream, right? But those days, there was chendol.
Yeah, and as I was reading about this, we lived in Hawaii for a little while, and that's what it reminded me of was shave ice. And when you go to the real good shave ice places in Hawaii, they make their own syrups. They don't use the bottled syrups. And you can get all different kinds of flavors. I love the strawberry with the coconut. Is that the same with cendol? You can get different toppings, different flavors with it?
You can get very creative. Of course, we always have the basics, right? So like I said, the basics is coconut milk. You've got the shave ice, the palm sugar. Malaysians, we're very good at pimping up things. So you can pimp it up with a very, very good musang king, which is the durian, of course. So that makes the chendol exclusive or a bit more luxurious.
Mm.
And of course, you've got the grass jelly and the different types of colors as well. The syrup, like you said. But Malaysians' top favorite is with a slice of durian or 2 slices of durian.
Mm. I love how you always bring it back to the durian. It's so popular. So you mentioned you have the morning tour in Georgetown and the evening tour. I love it that you have 2 different ones and that they're really different experiences. What is the experience like in the evening tour? What kind of stuff could we expect?
So in the evening, I like to combine, it's a bit of an art to combine a bit of the street food. And of course, you get the Chew jetties, the jetties we visit over there. And a bit of the nightlife of Georgetown as well. So it's a blend of all these things. So we have a tasting of the Malay kitchen at the start. So of course, if you come to Asia, Malaysia, you need to try a version of satay, for example. You get that. And then you've got the pengat pisang. It's like a banana puree, if the easiest way to put it. And we've got cucuk badak, which is another pastry, or a cake, savory. And you also get a bit of a tasting of thosai, breads, the ginger teas, and then we progress to the Chinese street food, which is the wonton mee, which is the noodles, dry noodles. And then, of course, we got the Penang Hokkien Mee as well. Not to be confused with the KL Hokkien Mee.
Yeah, I was going to say, because there's different kinds of Hokkien Mee. One in Kuala Lumpur. There's other ones. I think there's one in Singapore, maybe too. What makes the Penang Hokkien Mee different?
Like I said, Penang can claim and proudly claim many, many famed signature dishes. And one of it is Hokkien Mee. Hokkien Mee is so similar to laksa, is basically noodles in broth. And this one is prawn broth. Prawn and pork. Yeah. So you've got the prawn heads as well, as a stock, with the best of the pork bones. Yeah. Penang, it's a signature dish from Penang. You can have it with rice noodles or rice vermicelli or mee, yellow noodles. I typically like a mixture of noodles with rice vermicelli and rice noodles. And then you have eggs, you've got the shallots, and then, of course, you've got the shrimps as well, shredded chicken, and it's a wholesome broth of noodles. Yeah. So, Penang is also famous for another broth noodles, which is the Penang Asam Laksa. That's the sour noodles. So that's also another big thing, the Penang Asam Laksa. Yeah. And this noodles, so very different from the prawn stock pork Hokkien Mee. This is a bit more of everything is in this bowl of noodles called a Penang Asam Laksa. So asam is sour. So you've got the sour, from tamarind. You've got the spiciness, the spices from the chili. You've got, of course, the base is fish. Yeah. So some people use mackerel, some people use sardines. So it's quite a fishy broth, but that's when the pineapple comes in to balance up with the shallots. And also you have the mint as well to calm down the fishiness of the broth. So what's the taste of Penang Asam Laksa? It's a hybrid of sweet, savory, sour. Every senses is tested in the Penang Asam Laksa.
As I'm listening to you talk, Pauline, I'm thinking about these street foods and they sound divine, but I'm wondering, you've got the Hokkien Mee that has the shrimp in it, the prawns. You've got the laksa, which probably has a fish broth to it. Is there anything from the street food that vegetarians or vegans could enjoy?
That's an interesting one. Yeah, recently I've created one of my latest products is the vegetarian food walk.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Dedicated just to vegetarian. Interesting.
Yeah. I have to admit the vegan is a bit of a test, but, vegan and street food, it's not impossible, but to hit as many spots as the vegetarian one, it's slightly challenging, but not impossible. So we've done, back to the vegetarian, there is a place in Penang that serve a vegetarian Penang Asam Laksa. And I was blown up and amazed by that. I have to admit, I'm a vegetarian myself twice a week, because of going to the markets and being exposed to so much stock. I need to have this twice a meal vegetarian to stay a little bit sane and balanced, carbon footprint and everything. But yes, the vegetarian world is very interesting. You get satays made from lion mane mushrooms. Yeah, it's such and it's almost like eating the real thing. Okay, there's still a difference naturally, but to me, when I tasted the satay and the sauce and the Penang Asam Laksa vegetarian style in this place, I do not miss the real meat.
It's interesting that you said that the mushroom substituting, because yesterday we went into Lisbon and we went to our favorite restaurant in all of Lisbon. It happens to be a vegan restaurant. And they serve a dish called choco frito, which is a famous dish here in my city of Setúbal, which is deep fried and breaded cuttlefish, which is like a octopus, similar to an octopus. But they substitute, instead of the cuttlefish, they substitute in mushrooms. And I love this dish because they serve it with a basil aioli oil and emulsified oil sauce. Is so delicious. It's one of my favorite ones, and it beats the original by a long shot, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a couple other dishes in Penang. What about this dish called nasi kandar?
Nasi kandar, yes. So nasi is rice. Kandar is the pole that used to carry 2 pots. So in those days, when they walk through the village to sell, or when they go to the pots to serve the Indian traders that come, coolies that work in the pots. So they carry 1 pail of rice, the other pail with curries. Of course, those days, it's not as it's not as fancy as these days. Yeah, so you have either curry chicken or, a beef curry, vegetable curry. Yeah. So these days, you can go to a nasi kandar restaurant and find 30 to 50 types of different curries and dishes that you can eat with your rice. So you have rice, plain rice, but you also have the biryani rice or pilau rice, sorry. And but be aware to visitors going to nasi kandar restaurants that what you choose is going to be what you pay. So naturally, if you have a plate of rice and you choose 10 items, right? So you want a crab, you want mutton, you want chicken, you've got this fried chicken, squid, you've got fish. So that's going to cost you. So be aware and be cautious with that one.
Okay.
So you need to spend at least a good 15 to 20 ringgit to have a nasi kandar. Or you can even pay 80 ringgit for a plate of rice.
Okay. And that translates to what, like $10 US maybe? I don't know. I don't know the conversion rate right off the top of my head.
That's about $4 US. So
only
that would
4.
be yeah. Oh, well, when you convert it, it's pretty relatively cheap.
Yeah.
But $4 US. And of course 80 ringgit, which is the top. It's really over. So that would be maybe 20, 25 US.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Speaking of seafood, we were talking about the different seafood dishes that you can get when you're in Penang. There's one that I thought was interesting that I'd like to bring up, which is the oyster omelet, because I don't normally think of seafood going in with an omelet, but it makes sense. This is a popular dish in Penang, I assume?
Yes, the o jian. We call it the o jian. The local word is o jian. So the fried oyster omelette. It's interestingly, the locals love it. Every Malaysian most of the time would like it, unless there are some folks who are a little bit more sensitive towards oysters. Yeah, because there's this thing about eating oysters fresh. So that is something you've got to be aware of. But there are 2 versions of the oyster omelette. Either you have it a little dry or a little wetter version. So the oyster omelette is, we call it a Minnan dish. So you have it, the influence comes from southern China. And that's why you have it in Taiwan as well. Yeah, the coastal of the southern China. So that's why this dish, you can get it in Taiwan as well. But in Penang, it's a very popular dish.
Any other dishes that you want to talk about that are famous in Penang or that you particularly enjoy, Pauline?
For me, it's the mee sotong at Fort Cornwallis.
Okay.
Yeah. Have a mee sotong, wash it down with a coconut shake. That will be D-Day. What is mee sotong?
Yes.
Mee noodles. Most of the time, yellow noodles. Sotong is sweet. Mee sotong. If you Google it, mee sotong, you can see how it looks like. It's the mee sotong is Penang is divine. You cannot get mee sotong in KL. You can get mee mamak in the capital, in Kuala Lumpur, but mee sotong is very unique to Penang, and especially the Fort Cornwallis version. It's fried. It's basically noodles, the yellow noodles, stir fry with the sambal paste, chili paste. You've got the sotong, and you've got like bean sprouts, all stir fried together. And it's so delicious. And you have the coconut shake, and it's a perfect pair.
I was going to say, you've got that spicy chili. You need to wash it down with the coconut. It sounds like a perfect combination.
Definitely.
Well, Pauline Lee, we'll look for you when we're in Penang, washing down your hot chili noodles with a coconut shake. From Simply Enak Food Tours, Pauline Lee, thank you so much for being on Destination Eat Drink. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. I love your enthusiasm. I love your knowledge of Malaysian cuisine, but also how much of just enjoyment comes through in the conversation when we talk. So thanks again for being on the show. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Brent. Pleasure's mine.
That's the delightful Pauline Lee. So good to catch up with her about Penang. And if you're planning a trip to Malaysia, be sure to check out the Simply Enak Food Tours. You can find them at simplyenak.com. That's simplyenak.com. I've also got a link in the show notes. Well, that's it for this week. Next week, we are in the island nation of Malta for a massive dish called timpana and tasty zapalés. Until then, get over to destinationeatdrink.com. I just posted a story about where to get the best tapas in the gorgeous city of Cadiz, Spain. You can read that at destinationeatdrink.com/blog. I also just posted a brand new video. This time it's about some of my favorite places in the Graça neighborhood of Lisbon. You can see that on my YouTube channel at Destination Eat Drink 946, or just click on the video tab at destinationeatdrink.com. Destination Eat Drink is distributed by the Radio Misfits Podcast Network and Ed Silla. Thanks, Ed. I'm Brent Peterson. I'll see you down the road.
Join us next week for another culinary adventure on Destination Eat Drink, a presentation of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network.